Today, let's talk about the citrus canker. The citrus canker is a bacterial disease and a plant quarantine object at home and abroad. If citrus is infected with the disease, it will be diseased for life. If the conditions are suitable and the prevention and control are not reasonable, the disease may be caused on a large scale. It is a citrus disease that is difficult to control. For citrus growers, canker is undoubtedly a difficult and complicated miscellaneous disease, and there is still no improvement after the use of the so-called specific and miraculous chemicals. Everyone knows that prevention should be the first priority for the citrus canker. However, although preventive measures have been taken in some orchards in case of continuous rainy weather, canker is still unavoidable. Especially for fertile orange varieties, canker is more serious and cannot be prevented. So what should we do? First, let's learn about the disease. The citrus canker mainly damages branches, shoots, leaves, and fruits of citrus, especially tender leaves. The affected leaves will have an oil-stained halo and raise spongy tissues on the front and back of the leaves. Do you see needle-sized yellow oil-stained round spots on the leaves? This is the citrus leaf in the early stages of canker infection. Although there are not many spots at this time, if we do not pay attention to them and let them develop, they will soon become like this. The front and back are raised like sponges, and then the middle of the affected part is broken and suberized, showing the appearance of a grayish-white crater. If you do not care about the disease at this time, the tree will be full of affected leaves, and the leaves will soon fall out. The canker spots on fruits and shoots are similar to those on leaves, but the degree of suberification is more serious, and crater-like cracking is more obvious. Summer shoots are the most severely damaged shoots, which may cause leaves to fall off and shoots to die in severe cases. The affected citrus fruits will also have such spots, and they will not be eliminated once they appear and will always exist, which will directly affect the commerciality of fruits. Look at this fruit. It becomes like this after being infected by the canker. With such spots on the clean surface, how can the fruits be sold? The citrus canker is a disease caused by Xanthomonas campestris PV juglandis. We all know that bacteria secrete bacterial ooze. The bacterial ooze can block the vascular bundles of citrus, that is, block its nutrient transport channels, and also affect the normal transport of organic matter synthesized by leaves, which has a great impact on the tree body. Next, let's talk about the occurrence regularity of canker. Xanthomonas citri survives the winter in the tissues of affected parts of citrus. In the second year, when the temperature is suitable and the humidity is high, by means of wind, rain, and insects and mutual contact of branches and leaves, the bacteria spill over from the spots and spread over short distances, spread over long diatonds. The bacteria mainly spread over long distances through infected seedlings, scions, and fruits. The bacteria colonize the young tissues of the host and invade them from the stomata, waterholes, lenticels, and wounds. The incubation period is 3 to 10 days. The canker can occur from early April to late October, with a peak in spring shoots in mid-May, a peak in summer shoots in June, July, and August, a peak in autumn shoots in September and October, and a peak in fruits from June to early July. The stomata of freshly sprouted young shoots and leaves and freshly formed young fruits have not yet formed, so the bacteria cannot invade them. The stomata of young shoots and leaves are formed 20 to 55 days after germination. and the stomata of young fruits are formed 35 to 80 days after blossom drop, and their stomata are in the open stage, so the bacteria are easy to invade them and cause the disease on a large scale. The temperature range of citrus canker is 20 to 35 degrees Celsius, and the optimum temperature is 25 to 30 degrees Celsius. High temperature and high humidity are necessary conditions for its prevalence. Storms and typhoons are likely to cause a large number of wounds to the host, which is more conducive to the spread and invasion of bacteria. It is difficult to prevent and control the citrus canker, and it is mainly reflected in 1. Xanthomonas citri likes to infect tender tissues, and the tissues in the leaf expansion and fruit setting stages are relatively tender and easy to be infected by pathogenic bacteria. However, excessive use of chemicals at this time is easy to cause phytotoxicity, and less use of chemicals cannot achieve the sterilization effect. When the symptoms become prominent, the disease often occurs more seriously. 2. The citrus planting areas are mostly located in low-latitude areas with high temperature and high humidity, which is conducive to the reproduction of pathogenic bacteria. Moreover, the bacteria have strong viability and can hide in many parts of the plant. On cloudy and rainy days, they will be splashed with rainwater to various parts, and when the conditions are suitable, they will begin to infect the plant and cause the canker. 3. Once Xanthomonas citri infects the tree body, the citrus tree will carry it for life, as long as the conditions are suitable and no prevention and control measures are taken. The disease will inevitably occur. 4. The wounds damaged by the larvae of citrus leaf miner can also induce the canker. Therefore, pest control is also the key. Although the canker makes fruit growers grind their teeth in anger, it can still be effectively prevented and controlled as long as it is properly controlled. First, strengthening plant quarantine. Since the citrus canker is a plant quarantine object at home and abroad, relevant quarantine work must be strictly carried out. The transportation of citrus seedlings, scions, rootstocks, seeds, and fruits must be strictly quarantined in accordance with regulations to prevent the spread of canker. The affected trees and seedlings found in the protected areas should be burned immediately. Second, agricultural control. In terms of the cultivation of disease-free seedlings, the seedling nursery should be established in a disease-free area without citrus plants within 1,000 meters of the surrounding area, and the high-quality and disease-free female parent garden should be established to supply disease-free scions locally. In terms of the orchard clearing in winter, the affected branches, leaves, and fruits should be removed and burned in a centralized way. In terms of strengthening pruning, studies have shown that Xanthomonas citri is not strong against ultraviolet rays in the sun, so timely pruning to increase the ventilation and light transmission of fruit trees is helpful for canker management. In terms of reducing fruit and leaf damage and wounds, specific measures are as follows. Windbreaks can be built to reduce the wind speed in the orchards, to reduce the wounds caused by the friction between leaves and branches. Especially in areas with typhoons, the building of windbreaks can significantly reduce the occurrence of diseases. It is also necessary to control citrus leaf miner and other pests in time to reduce pest damage. Finally, chemical control. Because the bacteria cause damage in the vascular bundle, it is necessary to select chemicals with systemicity for prevention and control. The chemicals must be sprayed for shoots during the period from the leaf expansion stage to the ripening stage, and young fruits from 20 days after blossom fall until they have disease resistance, that the scabs of spots and the spraying interval should not exceed 12 days. It should be noted that some people imagine that the expected effect of chemical control is too high. However, no matter how the chemicals are used, it is impossible to restore the leaves that have produced spots to their original appearance. Will no longer expand, and the new shoots will no longer be susceptible to the disease. After chemicals are sprayed, the spots on the tender shoots will scab, and the spots may be gradually repaired and reduced as the leaves grow. That's all for the introduction of citrus canker. See you next time.